For nearly 2 years, a controversy has raged in St. Tammany Parish, that's in my home state of Louisiana, when sexually explicit books that included dozens of books teaching gay, lesbian, and transgender ideologies were discovered to be readily available to minors throughout the library. Now, parents, they didn't shrink back. They didn't go silent. They actually formed an organization to push back. This includes some local residents fed up with their local library who decided to run for the parish council, which has oversight of the library, to specifically address this issue. And one of those is local parish councilman David Cougle, and he joins me now. David, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for having me.
Now, this is a Christian family program, so without getting too graphic, what were some of the books that were paid for with taxpayer money and put on the shelves of libraries for kids?
Exactly. So, I mean, and that's part of when I discuss this with people, because you have a lot of different opinions about these types of things. And I say, look, the taxpayers have a right to have a say in how their money is spent. And the origin of this is back, I think it was summer of 2022 or so, and I got involved around October. And I started, because, I follow these national political trends, and I noticed all these same types of books, sexually explicit books showing sexual acts, encouraging signing up on sex apps. All these types of things were just being put in schools and in the minors section of various libraries. And not surprisingly, it started happening in St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana. We're the fourth largest parish in the state. We're very conservative. 13 of 14 members of the Parish Republican Council are actually Republicans. And as you know, Tony, we have parishes instead of counties, but that's pretty much the equivalent. So I got involved at that point, and we started, just basically saying, look, you should represent community standards here. We don't want our money spent on this stuff. It's to the extreme to where people were getting embarrassed with it being mentioned in public. It was just so vulgar. And one of the local news stations out of New Orleans said that they could not even show or discuss what was in some of these books because it couldn't be shown on TV, which should kind of give you an idea. And then at some point later, because there was a Facebook page by some people affiliated with me, and they ended up getting taken down because they were just showing samples from these materials, and they kept saying these violate community standards. I mean, this should be pretty simple that this is not appropriate. And what we started seeing is we started doing public records requests for emails between the library and, as you know, the American Library Association. And we started seeing that a lot of this was intentional, and the way that it was happening is they were basically saw their role as kind of challenging community standards instead of respecting them. And so we started demanding, like, no, you need to adhere to community standards. You need to serve the public. And in my case, I just saw that my particular council member would not, represent us. And at some point, I decided to run against them, and I'm here now.
Well, I commend you for your effort, David, and I just, for the sake of our viewers and listeners, I've known you since you were high school or in college. Back when I was in the legislature, you would come to the legislature with my seatmate, A.G. Crow. So you've kind of worked with A.G. over the years and seen how the political process works. I guess there's a message here for other parents who see these types of things happening in their communities, their children being exposed to it. And it's not just their children. We should be concerned about what all children are being exposed to, ultimately, because they become citizens of the communities we live in. But sometimes it appears overwhelming to get involved and to make a difference. But you ran for the council, you got on the council, you saw the way to utilize the law to then bring about a change in the library system there in St. Tammany Parish. What would you say to other parents who are concerned about what they see happening in their communities?
Well, one of the reasons, I do follow social media lots, like especially X, Twitter now X, which I appreciate, allowing more free speech. And I follow some of these just conservative influencers. And some of them, I'll give a shout out to Mr. Jesse Kelly, who has a lot of interesting commentary. He said you need to focus on getting on school boards and focus on getting in these local bodies. And because it's so easy to just focus what's happening in DC. and I'm sure you know that yourself. And where we really have an impact is these local elections. And in my case, I saw that, I want to run for the parish council because that was what if basically we appoint the library board, which controls the library. And at some point, and as you can see, we were sworn in January, and I don't want to take all the credit for this at all because we had a majority of the council vote for. So the Republican Party of St. Tammany Parish gave a list of recommended nominees, and a majority of the council voted for 100% of that list. And that's basically where we are today. So the impression is they're probably more conservative, but they were recommended by the Republican Party. They all got 8 votes or more. And, and now we feel that we've, addressed what the people were concerned about. And I want to encourage parents to run for local offices. I mean, where my first part of this was like, I kept going to some of these meetings and I just saw that I really wasn't like making the impact I wanted. I said, okay, then I'm just going to run for office. And, the issue resonated with people. And of course, there's a lot of other issues as well,
right.
Because normally at these parish council levels, and you'll probably know this, again, being a resident from Louisiana, we don't focus on social issues and we don't screen for social issues. That's in the legislature, that's in Congress. But the library issue has changed that. And now people are going to ask, where are you on the social issues? Not just drainage, not just, zoning, but where are you on the social issues, like how, in our case, our $14 million library system functions?
Yeah. These issues have become an issue at every level now because of the way the left has pushed this indoctrination. David Cougle, thanks so much for joining us. And again, congratulations. Job well done.
Thank you. Have a good day.